Okay, again, this is Ed Crow. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it. As I mentioned earlier, I don't do too many of these webinars during AEP. I know it's a busy time for everybody. Hope you're having a good season. Hope you're staying relatively sane during it. So a couple things. We do these webinars usually outside of AEP. We do them every Wednesday and Thursday. During AEP, we do them here and there. So this was something that is new, and there's time frames for some of the items. So I thought I would get a webinar out and go over everything. So a couple other things before we get started is when we do these webinars, we record them. So if you want to attend a future webinar, but you can't make the time, maybe 1 o'clock on a Wednesday or Thursday doesn't work for you, all you have to do is register for it and you'll get a recording. So when we do the webinar today, which will only run about 15, 20 minutes, when we do the webinar today, when we're done, we'll send you a copy of the recording, and we'll send you links to look at the plans that I'm going to talk about today. Like always, if you have any questions, you can send them to me through the webinar. Unfortunately, I'm just not talented or smart enough to answer questions as I do the webinar. I know most people can do that. I don't seem able to. So just send the question in. I will try to answer it for you at the end. And what time do we have? So we got 1 o'clock. I think I'll get us started. We do have a couple more people coming on, but I think I'll get us going here. So today we're going to talk about is a benefit program for agents. So I didn't want to mislead on this. It's not something that we would sell. It's a program being offered that agents themselves affiliated with Crow, Pinnacle, or any of the other agencies affiliated with Pinnacle could enroll in. So, Pinnacle Financial out of Pennsylvania, Crow is part of that. There's other agencies in Connecticut as well. So if you're affiliated one way or the other with Pinnacle, you would have access to this program that we're talking about today. So what we're going to talk about are a couple different types of major medical plans that are being offered for agents. I'll go through the requirements, those kind of things. But important is the enrollment deadline. So if somebody does have an interest in any of these, there's an enrollment deadline from November 1st to December 15th. So we'll go over the requirements, the rates, and the things to know. Talk about the ancillary lines. I will talk about those briefly because there are, along with the major medical plans, there's a number of extra benefits. However, what I've noticed, and I've checked pricing, it looks like most of those benefits are things that through the organizations that we work with here, we can sell. So probably better to sell it to yourself, get contracted with those ancillary lines, sell it to yourself, and get the commission as well, versus taking it through this program I'm referring to. I leave that up to you. I just wanted to mention it, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes. These benefits are for affiliated producers, so not for agents to sell, but for producers to have access to that are affiliated, again, with Pinnacle, with Crow, with other organizations that work with Pinnacle. And then, like I said, I'll answer questions at the end for you. Okay, so before I do that, I just briefly want to talk about the programs that Crow & Associates offers to agents. I do this most presentations. We have a monthly lead and advertising reimbursement program. That's pretty simple. Anything you use to generate Medicare sales with, it's for Medicare. So anything to generate Medicare sales, you send us your paid receipt. We reimburse you $500 a month. Reimburse you in the same month that you send us the receipt. It can be anything. I get a lot of questions, but if it's to generate Medicare, you can probably do it. If it's something way outside the box, you might want to just give us a call here at the office first and check. But, all your standard stuff, leads, online leads, mailers, seminars, billboards, advertisements, those kind of things are eligible. And you'd have to send us a paid receipt. So it can't be an invoice. It's got to be paid. And then we reimburse you. We have a T65 seminar program. That's been our biggest program all year. One update to that is the program works great. You don't have to invite the people. It's a vendor that we have do it for you. We're averaging about 55 people per seminar, which is excellent, and those are all people turning 65. I was worried about our attendance because we've been doing these year-round in multiple states. We can do these in any state, any area, all year. But I was worried about what the attendance would look like during AEP, and even some of you here on the call, I can see that I kind of downplayed doing these during AEP because it was an unknown. So I've had some brave souls that have that I know that have gone out and done these seminars during AEP, and it really hasn't hurt attendance at all. So I can tell you that you can run these off cycle, which is what we traditionally have done, but we've been getting about the same attendance during AEP as well. We have free agent websites for agents that need a website. You have to buy the URL, but you can get a URL because that way you own the URL. You can get a URL for about $20 for 2 years. So 24 months, you can have a URL for about $20 from GoDaddy. And then Pinnacle will build you the website. They'll build it and design a logo for you if you don't have one. And they'll also put your Pearl, the Pearl and Connect Your Sunfire or Medicare bot on the site for you. So it's a nice feature for those who want a website. We have a new lead program for live transfers and online leads through a company called LeadStar. That's an AmeriLife affiliated program. If you want information on that, we have it all online. We can send you, just call and request it or email us, and we can send you information on that. We've just had people start to get live transfers and online leads through them. So I can't tell you how we've done yet. It's early on. So next webinar I do, I'll provide more of an update there, but they are available, readily available for any producers that work with us, attached to us, Pinnacle, AmeriLife, any agency in Connecticut. We do AEP and OEP marketing allowances. So that's basically you bring a business case to us what you're going to spend money on during AEP or OEP to generate Medicare sales, and we have money available in-house with Crow, money from Pinnacle, and sometimes from the carriers direct. So if you are looking to do something bigger than the $500 a month, which many are, put a business case together, send it to us, and be happy to talk to you about it. And lastly, we have Connect Your Sunfire and My Medicare Bot. They're 3 enrollment platforms, and we give agents access to all 3 of them. So all at no cost. All 3 of them do recording for the crazy new call recording rules, which we all are probably sick of thinking about and talking about. But they are all 3 compliant with the call recording rules. All right, so let me get to what we talked about then. So there's going to be 2 major medical type of plans that will be offered. The first one has 6 plan offerings. Again, this is for agents. I'll get into the details. It's a guaranteed issue plan, so there is no medical underwriting for it. It does go through a union. So it's guaranteed issue, gives you access to the Blue Card network. So those not familiar, that's the national network for Blue Cross Blue Shield. So obviously a very good network. There's 6 plan offerings, and as you would logically think, they kind of go from the base, which is the most out of pocket, the highest deductibles, all the way to the gold and the ASO plans, which have a lot less out of pocket, but obviously more premium. So big question I'm going to get a lot, I'm sure, on this is if I want to look at these and think about them, what do I need? Well, you need to be an agent that's got at least a product with us, and you need to have an FEIN. So meaning if you're an agent who is just contracted with Medicare plans, that won't be good enough to get you on these plans. You would need to have an entity. It could be an entity with no employees, but it doesn't even have to be licensed, but you have to have a FEIN number with an entity of some type to be eligible for these plans. So they are eligible for sole props for producers, but without an entity, you wouldn't be eligible. I do see the questions are starting to pop up already. I will answer those at the end for you. So the rates for these plans on the major medical group offering, these 6 different plans with this set, these rates are standard rates. They are not based on age. So what you'll find is people will say to me, I'm sure, well, when might these work for? Who might these work for as an agent? Well, there's somebody most likely who is 40 plus, so 40 or older, maybe a little younger than that, who can't get a subsidy on the exchange. Obviously, if we pit these plans against the exchange and you're getting a huge subsidy, it's not going to look good. But for somebody who can't get a subsidy, these rates could make sense. I'll do the plan designs on the next slide. Well, I'm going to try to do something a little different today. We have a question. I'll see if I can answer it. Why I do this. Probably a big mistake. Let's see. Oh, question was on the first setup, who is the TPA? It's funny, I remember and I just can't remember right now. The third party administrator is great question. I will get that to you maybe before the webinar is even done. Good question though. Who's the TPA? So here are the major medical plans. Let's see. Sorry about that. Okay. So again, guaranteed issue, no health questions. It's through a health and welfare fund, and they do give you access. The network is Anthem Blue Card. It's PPO network, so it's coverage in all 50 states. It's an ACA compliant health benefits. 100% coverage for preventative and wellness care, obviously is defined by the ACA since it's compliant. There, as I said earlier, there's 6 plans to choose from, deductibles ranging from $0 to $6,000. RX coverage is included in all 6 plans, and the concierge access and support I know nothing about. I could make up something for you there if you'd like. I really don't know what that means. It just looked like a cool bullet to put on the presentation. Okay, let me give you an idea of plan designs. So if you take a look, here are your basic plan designs, and as I mentioned, you have a base through ASO plan. You can see the deductibles for individual and family listed there. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. And when we send you the link, you can register on the portal and run all these benefits, look at them, look at rates, get as much detail as you want. Today's just to make you aware of it and see what it looks like. So remember, this is guaranteed issue. It is not age banded on rates. It's the same rates for everybody. So the older somebody gets, the better these rates would look compared to a non-subsidized ACA plan. And as we mentioned earlier, they all do have drug coverage as well. Okay, here are the rates for the major medical plan. As you can see, again, I'm not going to read through all of them for you, but if we take a quick glance here at the rates, if I kind of scroll back just so you can make it make sense, it's from left to right when we were looking at the benefits. So there's your benefits on the plan. And if you look at those and then take a look at your rates to give you an idea. And again, those are the same regardless of your age, regardless of health conditions or anything such as that. Okay, so that's the first set of plans, and those are the guaranteed issue that are through the union. And I know I got that question lingering out there, who's the TPA, and the fact that I can't remember is kind of disappointing because I do know who it is, but I can't just off the top of my head remember. All right, so let's look at the next option then for major medical. So we have what's called a small employer captive plan. So it's basically a small group plan that is self-funded on the entire group offering. What that means to you is really nothing other than the fact that it's a plan. It's going to have different options, just like the first I showed you, but it will be age banded. It's a plan for business owners without employees, sole props, and independent contractors. But again, the catch is you need an FEIN number, which you have to have through an entity. So again, I'll give you an example. Crow and Associates is initially when I made it was just an LLC. That's all you need. It doesn't have to have employees. It doesn't have to be licensed. But this offering is major medical plans. There are 3 plans available. This, unlike the other options, is based on age. So this is age banded. It makes it a little trickier for me to show you rates. I'm going to give you an example of them. And on this plan, you do initially, to get into it, have to answer medical questions. So because of the setup, they kind of ask for medical questions to get in. Once you're in, you're guaranteed renewable. But there is a medical questionnaire, which is fairly detailed, that you have to answer. And people will probably wonder how they're going to check it behind, the questions. And I assume I don't have this information yet, but I assume they'll pull an MIB to confirm that. Okay, so this plan, kind of like the other one too, can be seen as an alternative to private plans and to exchange plans that aren't getting substantial subsidies, I would say. There's 3 deductible levels on the plans, $2,500, $5,000, $10,000. Deductibles in the out-of-pocket max are set at equal amounts. All the plans are 100% coverage after the deductible. So there's no pre-existing condition exclusions or waiting periods for those that qualify, and that's the key. So you've got to get through the underwriting to get accepted on the plan. Once you do, there's no pre-X or waiting periods. There's no benefit caps or limits on the plan, and 2 of the 3 options are HSA qualified. Everything includes pharmacy coverage, and there's unlimited telemedicine services on all 3 plans. I'd actually never used telemedicine until I did recently, and had a pretty good experience with it. For those who know me, I'm kind of a pessimist, so I was kind of surprised that it worked out well, but it did. All right, so I'm going to give you an example of rates because they're age banded. The best way for you to see the rates is we'll send you an email with the link to register on the portal and look at rates based on your age. So the best I could do here was give you an example for a 40, just kind of randomly picked a 46-year-old male who's pretty gray at this point. So for a 46-year-old male, I was giving you an idea here. $2,500 deductible plan with a $5,000 OOP. It's 100% after deductible on all options, but that's $623.15 a month. 5,000 plans $517, and the 10,000 is $451. And goes without saying, but because this is age banded, the older you are, the more it's going to cost. The younger you are, the better. Unlike the first offerings I showed you, where they're all the same rates regardless of your age. Okay, so those are the major medical plans offerings. We'll send you the links so you can look at them if you're interested in them. Okay, so the next piece of this is when you go on there, you'll see that there's a number of ancillary products that you can have access to as an agent. Just my opinion here. I think a lot of these we have access to sell as an agent. So to me, and the rates are about the same. So to me, it would make sense if you were interested in any of these types of products for yourself. It would make sense. What I would tell you to do is we could contract you and sell it to yourself. That's my opinion. Probably not a popular one in general, but that's what I think. But anyway, for ancillary products, there's MEC plans. So those not familiar, those are minimum essential coverage plans. They focus mostly on meeting the preventative requirements of the ACA to be ACA compliant. There's a MEC that's pretty much pure preventative, and then there's another one that sprinkles in some co-pays. I'll let you look at that if you want to go look at it on the portal. There's individual standalone dental plans through Nationwide. Again, same situation. We have access as agents to sell MEC plans. We can contract people to do that. We can give agents contracts for Nationwide. So to me, it would seem to make sense to distribute it to yourself as opposed to enrolling through the portal. Vision through VSP and National Care. There's hospital indemnity and accident plans through Allstate, and there's permanent life with long-term care through Allstate also available. And I said I was going to keep it short, so I guess I kept my word today. That's it. I just wanted to give you a quick run through. Again, we'll send you the links so you can see this. Oh, and one thing, I don't know if I remembered to mention it. Oh, yeah, I think I did. The enrollment period for this is November 1 to December 15th. So if for somebody who's interested, we'll give you that email out. You should take a look at it if you're interested in it. Let me see if we have questions. I think we probably do. Okay, question is, I have small group insurance ending December 1. Can I pick this up in December? Or do I have to wait until January? For this, because it just came out, you have to wait till January. So this would be a January 1 launch for the product. Do we have any other questions? Let's see. Are there enrollment periods for change of life events? So in other words, are there special election periods for this, for things like loss of coverage, for various things? That's a great question. It's one I obviously thought about and should have the answer to, and I don't. I assume there is, but I don't know for sure. I will send that update as soon as I have it. I assume so, but again, until I know, I'll just tell you that I'll get back to you on that. Let's see if we have any other questions here. It looks like that might be it. Well, I'll just blabber on for a minute here to see if anybody has any more questions. But just a couple quick things. We'll send you the recording of this webinar so you can look at it, listen to it. We'll send you the link to access the benefits. I went on there. It's quick and easy. And I will get a couple follow-ups, namely the TPA and will there be special elections available on this plan. Let's see. I am an agency principal in the exchange. No employees need benefits. Would I qualify? Okay, so that's a good question. So somebody's asking would they qualify. So you qualify if you have a license, not licensed. You qualified if you have an entity. So you need to have an LLC, an S corp. You've got to have an FEIN number. So if you're simply an agent or you're a W-2 for a company that you don't own, you wouldn't qualify. What is the best way to get an FEIN if you don't have one? You'd have to create an entity, which is not hard to do, by the way. Oh, okay, yes, the agency I own is incorporated. Yes, if you own an agency, you own an actual entity. It doesn't need to even be incorporated. You just need to have an entity to qualify for these plans. So yes, to answer your question, if you own an agency, regardless of what type of incorporated status, you would qualify for these plans. Well, I should take that back for a minute. You qualify to apply. So the guaranteed issue plans for sure, but remember the second set of plans do have medical questions. Can the company offer only benefits to executives? Okay, the question is, can you class out? You got to be careful with that. I mean, if you're going to take this plan, it is a group-based offering. So I know what your question is, but you'd have to legally class this. But if you're saying, if you're a company with 4 people and you're going to put this in place, can you just take benefits? You got to be careful there because obviously there's just discrimination rules when it comes to that for your employees. Good questions. It looks like that's all we have. Well, again, I know it's AEP. I appreciate everybody coming on. I know we're all busy, so I'll probably only do these webinars during AEP every couple weeks or so. But other than that, I appreciate coming on. Oh, I got one more. I'm sorry I got on late. So maybe, okay, we've got a couple more questions. In fact, I'm sorry I got on late, so maybe this is redundant. But how many do you need for non-small plans? 1 person. You is for a sole prop, but you do have to have an entity. So you need an FEIN number. So somebody said, price aside, do you think the coverage is as good as through the marketplace? Well, yeah, I think I do. I mean, they're ACA compliant plans. I think it comes down to benefits and price. So, you look at the deductibles, you look at the cost shares compared to the price. And I think if that math makes sense for you, then yeah, I think it's something worth looking at. So they're clarifying the question of the initial question was, I'm sorry, how many do you need? Both plan types that I showed, the one that's the major medical guaranteed issue and the one that is subject to medical questions, they're both go down to 1 person. So somebody said, I'm in the process of getting my LLC and EIN. Can I complete benefits for myself? Okay, so if you're going to get an LLC, that means you have an entity, I assume, and you need an entity and an FEIN to be eligible. Hopefully that answers your question for you. So let me say it a different way. If I'm just Ed Crow, I'm Ed Crow sole prop, I have no entity, and I'm just going to get contracted and sell Medicare plans, I'm not eligible for this because I need a separate entity that has a tax ID and FEIN number. Okay, well, it looks like that's what we have for questions. For the couple people that got on a little later, that's fine. Again, I know it's AEP, but you'll get the recording of the call anyway. So you can go back and listen if you really want to, if you're a glutton for punishment and really want to hear me talk again. God bless you. So thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great day. I hope you're having a great AEP. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, send us an email. Oh, one last quick thing I wanted to say. For those that are texting or calling me, if I don't respond, just do it again. It's not on purpose. Just like all of us, we have most of us have a lot of volume this time of year, so sometimes I just miss things. So just be persistent and don't take it personal. I'm not doing it on purpose. All right. Well, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a great day.